Welcome to Blunt Talk at 420 Friendly. This morning, as I was doom scrolling the news, I came across this article, and there's a much bigger picture here. So I thought, hey, this might be the opportunity to discuss some cannabis in the news. So, what's really going on here? Let's take a look. The article is in MJBizDaily, posted July 1st, 2025 by Margaret Jackson. I will have a link to this article in the description. But I wanted to give a little commentary on this because there is a little bit more background that perhaps the average consumer doesn't know about. So in this article, it says, with many consumers demanding high-potency cannabis, a debate is swirling over whether states where marijuana is regulated should implement caps on THC content in flower, concentrates, and edibles. In Washington State, we already are having that discussion. We've been having that discussion for maybe about a year now. And I'll discuss why that is after we look at this article. While many states, Washington included, regulate the amount of marijuana products that can be purchased, few impose direct caps on THC potency of the products themselves, particularly for cannabis flower. States that specifically cap THC include, it says Connecticut, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Oregon. In Washington State, we do not have a cap on flower. The majority of our caps here are going to be in quantity versus THC content, with the exception of the edibles. You can learn more about our caps and regulations under the playlist Medical Cannabis on our YouTube channel. All right, so carrying on. David Hammond, a researcher at the University of Waterloo in Ontario, said Canada's model for edibles, which sets the limit of 10 milligrams of THC per package, prevents consumers from ingesting too much. Consumers in Canada, not public health folks, but the people who use it, are supportive of THC limits on edibles. But the discussion around potency is more nuanced than when considering different types of products. While a 30% cap is often suggested, Hammond said it's irrelevant for cannabis flower, which rarely, if ever, exceeds that percentage. And that is true. The main impact of caps falls on vaping liquids, which can range from 70 to 90% THC, and wax or shatter, which will also have high concentrations of cannabis plant's psychoactive ingredient. The problem is that our concept of what high THC is really differs across products. And that is true. And that is primarily due to how our body processes the THC depending on how we ingest it. So an edible that is using liver function in order to process differs from something that we're inhaling. All right, so it says THC caps could be a move toward prohibition. Now, I don't actually think that we're heading toward a prohibition for the legal cannabis market. Not really sure what's going to happen with the hemp market, but I believe that the cannabis market is pretty safe. We have a 10 plus years established record at this point, and a whole lot of states that are dependent on our tax revenue. So what it says here is Dr. Byron Adnoff, president of Doctors for Drug Policy Reform in Denver, says he has reservations that THC caps, arguing it'll push us towards prohibition. Again, the cap isn't going to push us towards any type of prohibition. The cat is out of the bag, so to speak. But down here, under would you be guillotined at dawn, Strategies to regulate marijuana potency range from THC caps on certain products to higher taxes on more potent products. This was something that was being seriously discussed in Washington state about a year ago, and that is the higher taxes on more potent products, which would be a logistical nightmare here in the legal cannabis industry. So, again, I'll have this article posted in the description, but there is a bigger picture going on here behind the scenes, and I'm going to share that with you now. Okay, so what is going on? What this all boils down to is a syndrome called cannabis hyperemesis syndrome. And I'm just going to read a little bit from here. This is from the clevelandclinic.org. I'll have a link down below. There are numerous articles on the webs about this particular syndrome, but here is the short version. Cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome happens when you have cycles of nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain after using cannabis for a long time. People with CHS often find temporary relief from these symptoms by taking hot baths and showers. Hyperemesis means severe vomiting. Cannabinoids are compounds in the cannabis sativa plant that bind to cannabinoid receptors in your brain, spinal cord, gastrointestinal tract, and other bodily tissues. So, as if you've been following our page, you know that we're working on a series regarding cannabinoids, what they are and what they do. So, when I saw this article this morning, I thought it would be a good time to bring this to everyone's attention. And we will be doing at some point a deep dive into this syndrome. It's on my very long list of videos to do, so I don't know when that will happen. So this is just going to be kind of a short version. But basically, what's going on here is states in particular are concerned about this syndrome. And what we were told in a seminar that I took a couple weeks ago to go over some bud tender training that the state is putting together, that's focus was, quite frankly, probably a third of that training is going to be about this syndrome and the hazards of using high potency cannabis for a long period of time. And what it boils down to, and what they said during that training, was they're basically concerned about liability. I don't believe that the cannabis industry is going away, so don't worry about that. We're here to stay. But this is it's a very real syndrome. I do know several people that have developed this and have had to adjust their use, either no longer smoking and now only doing edibles or tinctures, or doing something else. But this is a very real syndrome, and a very real syndrome anyway. And this is where these rules and kind of I don't want to say overreactions per se, but definitely concern is being vocalized a lot more on the state level, and has to do with this syndrome. So anyway, this is the first time that I've tried to do some sort of a news breakdown. I do see things all the time, and I think, oh, I should do a video about that. But let me know. Hey, leave me a comment. Let me know if you want us to break down some of the news and what we know about it, being able to tie that back to the industry, to how it may or may not affect you as the consumer. So leave me a comment, subscribe to our channel, and have a great day. Until next time, peace.